watching NotesIn9.
Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 74, Getting Started with jQuery Plugins. There's a plugin for that. Okay, before we get into the show, I want to just briefly talk about OpenNTF. And as I mentioned in the last show, there's this brand new site that they put out called Collaboration Today. So if you have not seen that yet, go ahead and check that out. The last NotesIn9 talked about kind of like how it works, but it's also something you might want to use a lot and just keep up on the notes in the IBM social space. I'm pretty partial to that XPages category myself, but there's a lot of different things going on there, and it's curated by some top experts, picking different blog posts and news stories or so to bring it to your attention. Now, what is OpenNTF? Well, OpenNTF is, I guess at the base level is this download site where you can download finished projects, you can download just code and different examples, bits and pieces, custom controls. They've got this great section on what they call X snippets, which is just code snippets for XPages and Java and LotusScript and maybe CSS and stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure if CSS is there, but hopefully it will be. And it's just pieces, building blocks that you can use to build your apps. But it's more than just a download site. It's run by this group of people, and they run contests. They talk to sponsors, and they've given away thousands of dollars of prizes. Again, they just did this Collaboration Today site. I wonder what they're doing next. I'm sure it's going to be something good. And the key here is they need help. It's a group of people that could use more people. They're currently holding elections. They have this structure with a board and different committees or so, and member companies and contributors and stuff, and people can rotate in and out based on elections or so. So if you're a member, part of a member company, or if you're just a contributor, you're eligible to hold a post in OpenNTF in some fashion. So if you're interested and you have some time, then they do need help. So please get involved. Even little things can help, I'm sure. The nomination period ends September 21st, so that's in a couple of weeks. Here's a link to the article and the call for nominations. I know you can't click on it in the video, but if you go to the OpenNTF blog, it's really not that hard to find. And you can just nominate yourself. And if you meet a bunch of great people, you learn more about XPages and the community and stuff like that, and it's a great thing to do. So if you can, I highly recommend it. Okay, now for this show, we're going to bring back on a great guest, Dr. Mark Roden, who is recently back from a worldwide tour at the Pittsburgh MWLUG conference, and he's got this website called Xomino.com, XOMINO.com. And he is an expert in all things jQuery and XPages, and he's got a demo site at demo.xomino.com. And he recently changed jobs, so now he actually works at the consultancy PSC Group, which is based out of Chicago, I believe, and their website's PSC Listens. And he and other people there are available to hire. So if you have any questions on jQuery or XPages or so, you can actually hire Mark or probably some of my other contributors as well. You can't hire me because I'm just a customer, but you can hire some of these other guys. So if you do need help, these people are here and available to you. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to talk about getting started with jQuery plugins. And let's go, and without saying anything else, let's go right to Mark.
Hi there, my name is Mark Roden, and today I'm going to show you how to add a jQuery plugin to an XPage. You can find out more about me at my blog, www.xomino.com. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how I solved my business requirement to take a large amount of text and compress it down to a small area and provide some kind of visual indication to the user so that they can see that there is more to read. I'm going to show you the plugin, I'm going to download it, I'm going to add it to my to my database, I'm going to create my view panel, I'm going to play with the plugin and show you how I came up with the parameters I was looking for, and then I'm going to apply that to my XPage. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what's going on. So I found this plugin Truncate, and what's really nice about it is that there's some really cool demonstrations actually on the website itself that show you how to parameterize the plugin. So what this guy's really doing is he's taking, as I mouse over, you can see a large amount of text, and he's reducing it into this dashed outlined container with, in this case, no parameters. And what he's done is he's provided parameters to his plugin called Truncate that allows you some flexibility to control how it's displayed. So I can add more lines over here, and you can see the lines parameter is increasing. And over here I can actually control what goes on at the end. So if I want it to say snip, then it will say snip. Or if I want it to say read more, then read more. And this gives the user a really nice indication that there is more to read, and there it is. Okay, this is really nice. And you can also control where it goes on the screen, you can control where it is in the middle, what happens when you're resizing, all sorts of interesting things, but they're a little beyond what I was looking for. I was really looking for this. That's exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to download my plugin. I'm going to stick it in my documents folder, Truncate, and then I am going to go over to my XPages database. Now I am looking at it currently in the XPages perspective, which allows me to see the Package Explorer, and within the Package Explorer you can scroll down and you can see this Web Contents folder. This Web Content folder is very nice. Everything to the right of your .nsf in your URL is referenced from the root of the web content. So .nsf/js will then give you access to all these files, and I really like doing it this way because it allows me to manage my CSS files and my JS files, my images, all from one place. And what you'll also find is when you download a jQuery plugin that comes with CSS and images, they're all usually relative to a single root. So it's much easier to add them to this folder than it is to add them to the images elements or the library elements, or whatever it is. Much easier to manage them here in the system. So I'm going to go get my truncate.js file, and I am going to drag that and drop it into the JS file over here, and you can see this down here. There's my truncate.js. Earlier I added jQuery 1.7, the minified version, so that's already in there. So I'm now going to create my X page, which is xtruncate, and that already exists. Oh, apparently I've already done that. So within xtrunc, I have nothing right now. I'm going to create a custom control, and that's going to be called form truncate. Okay, and then I am going to add my common container for my demo site into here, and then within the editable area, there's my facet. I am going to add my form truncate that I just created, that I should be able to see there. So I'm going to see that, and when I bring that up in my web browser, we don't have anything much yet, and my menu's all messed up. Okay, so within my custom control, I'm going to go into the source panel. Let's get rid of that, just so we knew what was going on. And I'm going to go and I'm going to take a little bit of code. This is the code that I use within my blog demo database. It manages the menu. In this case it says open at the 14th element on the menu. So when I go and take a look at my menu, I now have the 14th element open on my menu. Just pretties that up a little bit. And then within here I'm going to add a view panel. And to do that, I am going to define a data source. It's going to be a view in this database, and that's going to be some data. And that some data, I am just going to take 3 different columns, and I'm going to drag them onto my X page. Save that, and just like that I now have a view panel on my web page, and now that looks a bit icky. So let's just add a couple of styles to clean this up. So I'm going to style the first two columns, give them a fixed width of 100 pixels, and then that should clean us up a little bit. Excellent. But what I've got is I've got this really long block of text over here, which is what I'm really trying to neaten up. That's really what I'm trying to get at. So I'm now going to add Truncate and jQuery to my X page, and I do that using these script tags, and these script tags reference the JS folder, which is in the web contents for Truncate and my jQuery 1.7. I'm going to stick that in the source of my X page, save, refresh, and nothing's happened whatsoever. Oh, in fact I've actually broken my menu, and that's because I already have jQuery loaded. Trick question. So when I take that back out again, there we go. So what I've really done is I've shown you how you would add jQuery, but I actually add mine to the site through a theme. Can't add it twice, it gets really confused. This is what we came to look at today anyway. So I've now got Truncate on my X page, but it's not doing anything. So let's open up Firebug. I'm going to hit F12 and I'm going to get Firebug. I'm going to get it on the page here so you can see it. Hopefully. And it's hiding there at the bottom. There we go. Alright, so in my previous NotesIn9 video I used this very same example for what I was trying to do, and what I want to do is I want to use jQuery to get a hold of the column over here so I can apply and truncate on the table cells in that particular column. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use this. I'm just going to bring this over here. I'm just going to go back over here, show you the view panel. By default the ID is view panel 1 for your view panel, and the way that you get a handle on that is this ID $selector says give me anything on the page that ends in view panel 1, and in this case I am taking all, and that's basically a table. There's this table, and then within there I've got table rows, and then within those table rows I'm going to get all of the cells, but I'm only going to get the third one in each row. Okay, so if I just run that, what you'll see is I actually get a bunch of these jQuery. I get a jQuery object, and within it I get these DOM objects returned. As you can see in order as they're being highlighted, these are the different table cells, and I could actually add a simple color, and I could turn them all red if I wanted to, but that's not really what we're here to do. I'm just showing you that I've got a hold of this particular column. Alright, so we'll refresh the page and we'll put that back to where it was. So if we go back and we look at the Truncate example, you'll see that by default all he does is he does Truncate. So if I go back over here and I look at my page and I run Truncate on it, it's going to take every selected element and it's going to truncate it. And there you go, it did it. It reduced them all down to one line, put a dot on the end, and there you go. That's it. It's basically done. It's as simple as that. Well, it's nearly as simple as that. I'm going to make it a little bit fancier, and I'm going to show you how we're going to play with it in here, so that instead of saving my X page and going and testing it, saving my X page and going and testing it, we do it all in Firebug, and then we put the final result into our X page once. So I'm going to get this particular script here, and back over in my Firebug. What this one, we're going to reload the page so we can actually apply something. What this is going to do is this is going to use the end line. It's going to say read more. I'm going to use 3 lines. The side is going to be on the right. There's a tooltip, and the width is automatic to the container. Run that. Ooh, what happened? I did something completely wrong then. Didn't. Oh, see, 4 columns in my. We have 3 columns in this example marquee. It didn't find anything with 4 columns. Look at that. With 3 columns, we actually get what we're looking for. Now, if I take this down to 2 lines, it's actually showing you 3, 0, 1, 2. Okay, fine. Look at this. And we actually have some control. Now, what we can do here is we can actually put that on the left if we really wanted to. And it goes over there on the left. And you'll see every time it decides where the longest last letter is, so it doesn't cut off the words or anything like that. It always goes to the end of a word, which I think is really nice, because some of the ones I've seen cut it off in the middle of a word, it's just not as nice looking. Okay, if you don't want a tooltip, we do that. Now, no, that didn't do what I wanted to do. I need to refresh the page to then run it, and now I don't get a tooltip. It was already applied to the container. Sorry. So what I really want is I actually want that on the right. I do want a tooltip, and it's going to say read more, and that's pretty much what we want. Okay, brilliant. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add it to my X page. But the way I'm going to add it to my X page is I'm actually going to add it inside this XSP add-on load. All that means is that this is going to run after the page has loaded. Because we've got Dojo and we've got the XSP, the special JavaScript functions that run after the Dojo is loaded to make sure that the X page is all fully functioning. This then runs it when the whole page is ready. So I'm going to take this script, I'm going to add it to my X page at the bottom. This is basically the same as using the client on load event, but I just happen to be doing it in code instead. Save that. Remember, Mark, we only have 3 columns in this example. And we're going to turn this off. We're going to load my X page, and there it is. That's what I'm looking for. And all I did was I made one save to my X page. When you're in an environment where building is really slow, I just saved myself a ton of time by doing this in Firebug, because I can refresh the web browser and I only did one build. And that's basically it. Thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, give me a shout. This is actually the wrong URL. Oh, Mark, really? It's it's going to be NotesIn9 Truncate. You can find me on Twitter at Marky Roden. Check out my blog www.zomino.com. Let's talk about it. This is a fantastic example of how in 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, I solved my business requirement. I can't begin to imagine how long it would have taken me to code that by hand, if I even could have done. This is why you should use jQuery. It's not because jQuery, it's because of all the libraries that everybody's written that work with jQuery. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be back soon. Bye bye now.
And that's the demo. If you have any questions for me, here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.